everyone. So now and then the topic of deflation comes up. So what is deflation? Deflation is when prices are falling rather than rising. The natural state of the universe is that prices should be falling, not rising. It is only because the government has duped you into believing that prices should rise that they do. If the government did not print money out of thin air, there would not be rising prices. There's no reason prices have to rise, making your life harder to live. That is entirely a fiction created by governments to enable them to print more money. So if you want the details of this, read Jeff Booth's book, The Price of Tomorrow, which is a book about deflation. But the short take is anytime you have sound money, whether it's gold, whether it's Bitcoin, gold is more scarce than, Bitcoin is more scarce than gold, but gold is more scarce than anything other than Bitcoin. So let's group them together as sound money, even though Bitcoin is more sound money. If you have something with a finite supply, like gold or Bitcoin, it will be deflationary, meaning you will be able to buy more stuff over time with that asset than you can without that asset, or than you can with sort of a fiat currency or something that is not, that is priced in an unlimited supply. But that is a good thing. So if you ask the average consumer, would you rather have the price of everything go the direction of, large flat screen TVs or the current medical system? Most people would prefer the price of flat screen TVs. So technology in our lives, my first computer cost thousands of dollars. You can buy a way, way, way better one for a few $100s right now at Best Buy, or even $100 or less than $100 at Best Buy. You can buy a better computer than cost me thousands 25 years ago. Same with televisions. You can buy a massive large screen TV for a few $100. When those first came out, they were thousands of dollars. Nobody is complaining that the price of televisions, the price of computers, the price of electronics in general, especially, generic electronics. Obviously, the price of something like an iPhone is more expensive, but that's because it's part of an exclusive ecosystem, and it gets, way better every time and all that sort of stuff. But for things where there's competition, and there is for like Android phones, the price of Android phones keeps coming down, even if iPhones do not. The economy works great when things are getting cheaper. It works way better for everyone when things are getting cheaper. The only reason people are opposed to price drops is because economists, Keynesian economists, and John Maynard Keynes was one of the worst humans that ever lived as far as damage done to the world, because his ideas were so flawed. It was based on the fact that everybody should be deeply in debt, and we should have huge, massive governments and all this sort of stuff. It was just awful ideas. But anyway, since the mainstream media and academia, the colleges and universities mostly, are occupied by people who believe in these big government ideas and, big government solutions, they're all in favor of more money printing because it gives the government more money. When the government prints money, they get it first. And you get it later when all the prices are up, which means when the government prints money, it doesn't do you any good. It does someone else good, and then you just get the result, which is the high prices. So everything in the world should be going down in price, not up. The entire world would be better off if everything was slowly trending cheaper. If your wages and your paycheck bought more, a little bit more every 2 weeks, wouldn't that be great? Well, that is what deflation is. It's when the price of what you need gets cheaper over time rather than going up. And that used to be the case back when the world was on a sound money standard. And especially it became not the case after 1971, when Richard Nixon officially took the US dollar off the gold standard and made it based on nothing, literally a figment of the government's imagination, which is why it's called fiat currency, because it's made by fiat, which is just a dictate by the government that something has value, even though it's not based on any sort of scarcity or, anything like that. So if you want more details, read Jeff Booth's book, The Price of Tomorrow. And he goes into all the details, and you'll know everything you want to know about deflation. But deflation is good, again, as long as it's caused by economic growth and it's not artificially induced, like it was in the Great Depression, where they massively reduced the money supply for no good reason. So as long as you're based on a sound money standard, and it's not artificially induced as a sort of a shock imposed by the government, which happened during the Great Depression, then deflation is fantastic. And Bitcoin would create deflation. Everything priced in Bitcoin keeps getting cheaper. Everything priced in gold keeps getting a little bit cheaper over a long enough time period, but everything priced in Bitcoin gets way cheaper over a long enough time frame. You used to have to, a house would cost you 10,000 Bitcoin, and now a house costs you a few Bitcoin. So anyway, so deflation is a good thing. The only reason people think it's not is because we've been lied to by the government and their cronies to enable them to print money. And nobody has a good answer for why inflation has to be 4% a year or even 2% a year. Nobody has a good explanation for why the prices have to go up. They have to go up so that someone else can print money at your expense. That's the answer. That is why prices have to go up, because that is a natural consequence of printing money. And they want to print money that you can't have first. And they have to have, that creates inflation. You cannot print money without inflation. You cannot get inflation without money printing. That is, the two of them are always